to Top 10 Archive. For over 40 years, Wes Craven defined the American horror film, bringing to life Freddy Kruger, Ghostface, and Eddie Murphy as a vampire in Brooklyn. His passing marked the end of a great legacy, one worthy for a look in a special Halloween edition from Top 10 Archive. Number 10. Hailing from Ohio. Wes Craven was born in Cleveland on August 2, 1939. According to an interview with the New York Times, he grew up in a conservative religious home. Nonetheless, his father suffered from alcoholism and died at the age of 40. Afterward, Craven pulled away from organized religion, as you can probably tell from his movies. His disdain for religion even forced him to leave a funeral service for a friend out of sheer discomfort. And yes, his real name is Wes Craven. Number 9. He used to be a teacher. After receiving a master's degree from Johns Hopkins University, Craven became a college instructor at Westminster College in Pennsylvania, Clarkson University, and the Madrid-Waddington Central School in New York. What did he teach? English and humanities. Luckily for moviegoers, he didn't teach long, instead jumping into film during his stint as an educator. We can't help but wonder what kind of teacher he was, given his film's tendency to focus on slaughtering teenagers. Number 8. He stumbled into film. After purchasing his first 16mm camera while teaching, Craven soon fell in love with the medium, creating short films in his free time and quickly learning the art of cinematography. His entry into the film industry was thanks to Harry Chapin, a hit folk singer best known for Cats in the Cradle. Chapin hired Craven as a sound editor in the late 60s, and from there, Craven moved into film editing, starting with "You've Got to Walk It Like You Talk It or You'll Lose That Beat," and subsequently, filmmaking. Number 7. His start was X-rated. The film industry was already hyper-competitive in the early 1970s, making it hard for aspiring filmmakers to get work. To get by, Craven worked on pornographic films to earn money and build connections. Because of the stigma that porn had, and arguably still does, Craven relied on pseudonyms to stay in the business while not ruining his chances of moving into the mainstream. Number 6. He breaks out with The Last House on the Left. Released in the summer of 1972, The Last House on the Left established Craven's reputation with horror cinema. Craven wrote, directed, and edited this film about two teenage girls who are kidnapped and tortured by a group of sadists. The film was shocking in its depiction of violence and sexuality, but still generated a tremendous profit that received the attention of big studios. The movie has since gone on to be a cult classic, with a remake and plenty of films borrowing elements and concepts from it. Number 5. The Molder of Horror Icons. Though Craven's career was long, his largest feats included his hands in creating 3 of horror's most iconic franchises: The Hills Have Eyes, A Nightmare on Elm Street, and Scream. Craven wrote and directed the 1977's The Hills Have Eyes, the story about a family trapped by mutated cannibals in the desert. 7 years later, Craven rolled out A Nightmare on Elm Street, a film about a disfigured murderer who torments his victims in their dreams. In 1996, Craven appealed to a whole new generation with his direction of Scream, a movie about a group of teenagers who were hunted by a horror film enthusiast. The 3 franchises have 12 sequels, 2 remakes, and 2 spin-off TV series between them all. Number 4. Wes Craven's Two Nightmares. Craven gave the world Freddy Kruger, the unforgettable villain from A Nightmare on Elm Street. Not surprisingly, Elm Street spawned many sequels over the years, but Craven had little to no involvement in most of them. He directed just 2 of the 9 Kruger films, writing and directing the original and the 7th installment, Wes Craven's New Nightmare, and only taking writing credit for the 3rd installment, Dream Warriors. Even with Craven's limited input, the Elm Street franchise has earned almost $500 million. Number 3. He had many flops. No filmmaker is perfect. I mean, come on. Spielberg had The Terminal, Coppola has Jack, Lucas has, well, too many to mention. Wes Craven's had his share of flops on the big and small screen. That includes 1989's box office disaster, Shocker, which New Line thought would be the next Nightmare on Elm Street. That same year, Craven rolled out a TV comedy called The People Next Door, which was so bad the studio killed the show halfway through its season. Highlighting Craven's career of potential Razzie winners are Vampire in Brooklyn, My Soul to Take, Deadly Blessing, and another failed television show, Nightmare Cafe. Number 2, his best friend created Friday the 13th. Craven's producer for The Last House on the Left was Sean Cunningham. If you're a horror film fan, you'll know that name well. Cunningham created cinema's other iconic Scream King, Jason. Cunningham produced and directed Friday the 13th, a movie about a mysterious killer who preys on teens at a summer camp. The film became a huge sensation in the 1980s, spawning countless knockoffs, sequels, and satires. Strangely enough, Jason doesn't even appear in the first Friday the 13th movie, and doesn't even don his signature hockey mask until the third installment. The creations of Craven and Cunningham were often compared, with the two characters finally battling it out in 2003's Freddy vs. Jason. Number 1, not everything he touched was horror gold. Despite being synonymous with the horror industry, Craven did step away for one film, that film being Music of the Heart, a 1999 biopic about Roberta Guaspari, a musical instructor who taught in Harlem during the dark years of the 1980s. The film starred Meryl Streep in the lead, with Angela Bassett and Gloria Estefan in supporting roles. The film received okay reviews, and Streep received several award nominations, but we can't help but get goosebumps wondering how the guy behind The Last House on the Left could end up directing, well, quite the most gushy, effeminate drama. Do you know any other interesting facts about Wes Craven? Do you have an idea for our future top 10? Let us know in the comments section below. Be sure to follow us on Twitter, Facebook, and our website, top10archive.net. If you like this video, be sure to give it a thumbs up and share it with all of your friends.